Welcome in. Let's do it. What a weekend it was in sports. The University of Indianapolis, I think, sweeps their weekend at home, protecting home turf very, very well. We're going to talk a lot of NBA, but how about the Masters? How about Rory McIlroy winning 2 straight? My name's Caden Colford. Jake Helton's to my left, and Landon McQuitty is beside us as well. Landon, I want to turn to you and I want to ask, first and foremost, before we hop into the NBA playoffs, would you rather win the NBA Finals, or would you rather have a green jacket for yourself after winning the Masters?
See, I think this is really comes down to more of like personal preferences. See, like what circles you surround yourselves with. Because some people might care more about that NBA championship. Some people might care more about that green jacket. I feel like that green jacket has like a level of royalty to it. I think it's really cool. But for me, holding up that Larry O'Brien would be crazy.
Jake, what do you think?
It's got to be the Masters. Not only do you win $4.5 million, but you become a part of one of the most elite clubs of any sporting. I mean, you talk about the Hall of Fame on the same level as the Masters. Like, these are the elites of the elites. You go in there with Jack Nicklaus, and then you also got Tiger Woods, all the greats. Yeah. Now Rory McIlroy twice in a row. I think that's what was more impressive to me was 2 straight, 2 in a row, doing it back to back, something you rarely see in golf.
Guys, a green jacket will be tough. A green jacket will be tough. I would wear a green jacket everywhere if I won the Masters. I love basketball. That's my love, sports-wise, to play, to watch. But if I could win anything, I'd go win at Augusta. But we're talking basketball today here on Last Call as the regular season wraps up. No Pacers to be found, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the Eastern Conference and what it has to offer to this point. So you see a few teams that we've talked a lot about this year. We've talked a lot about the Pistons, a lot about the Celtics, a lot about the Knicks and the Cavs, and those your top 4, pretty standard in the East, and we're going to have to wait for the play-in. But through these 1, 2, 3, 4, I feel like that is a true power ranking at this point. Is that fair? More than just their records, more than just injuries, the storyline of the season. I think that the standards and the standings at this point probably tell how this East side of the bracket goes.
Well, when you're talking about the East, you're talking about those 4 teams. The Pistons have had the best regular season, not only statistically, but I think on just by the eye test as well. They've played very well, and they absolutely beat the crap out of the Knicks. I mean, they dominated them this year, which gives me hope coming to the postseason. They are on the opposite side. If they take down Boston, I just think that when you look at this, we're going to get the 2 games that we want to see. We're going to get the Pistons versus the Cavs, and then we're going to get the Celtics versus the Knicks. And then we'll get the winner, whoever's the best. The cream of the crop will rise to the top, and I think that we are going to truly get the best team out of the East this year.
And then as we look towards the Western Conference, I think this a little bit more stacked. The West always is, though. OKC at 1, Spurs climb up to the 2nd spot, 3's Denver. Los Angeles had a great season this year, and the Timberwolves had a great team, are at 6. Rockets 5, and obviously the rest to be decided. How do you feel the Western Conference stacks up in competition compared to the East, Landon?
Yeah, definitely. When you look at both these teams, I would definitely say the East is a lot more top-heavy. The drop-off there from those top 4 teams to the rest of them is definitely a lot more recognizable, because when you look to the Western Conference, obviously OKC, San Antonio, most likely going to win round 1, but I'm really looking at that Denver-Minnesota matchup. We saw it a couple years ago where Ant-Man and his Timberwolves took out the MVP in Nikola Jokic, and they'll have a chance to do it again. I think this will be a very exciting matchup in the first round and could have serious implications going forward, because the way I'm looking at it right now, OKC has a clear path to the Western Conference Finals. When you compare them to the number 2 and 3 teams in the West, the Nuggets and the Spurs, they'll have to play most likely each other, assuming the Timberwolves don't upset the Nuggets. I think the path for OKC is laid out, it's there, and they have a really good chance to go back to the finals just because of the toll that second-round matchup could take between San Antonio and Denver if that does take place.
Landon, I like your example involving Minnesota and Denver. They're set to play, again, a 6 seed, I feel, has a realistic chance. I don't know how realistic, but realistic to go really deep into these playoffs. Would you consider a 5-6 seed in the West in talks for being a contender, Jake?
I will say that I'm looking at that Rockets and Lakers game, and it is really interesting to me because I think both of those teams can present a little bit of issue for the Thunder. Now, in a 7-game series, I think the Thunder absolutely dominate them, but I don't know that we're going to see the sweep, the 4-0, whatever it is. I think that the Lakers, if they win, can give them a chance. They're going to have an opportunity. They get Luka back. They're going to be working. And I like that matchup because it's really going to test them in that first round. I feel like that's a pick 'em, if you will. Same thing with the Nuggets and Timberwolves, honestly. I feel like both of those, you could flip a coin and either side could win any day.
How about Jokic? We were just talking about Wemby and Jokic last week, and, you know, I chose the young gun over Jokic, but the Denver big becomes the first ever in NBA history to lead the NBA in rebounds and assists in the same season. So even Denver as a 3 seed could be a favorite over a lot of teams in the West. I can't wait to see how they stack up, not only in the first round, but hopefully the second round. I would love to see them make a big push. We talk as analysts and we talk who's going to do what. Who do you want to see well come the West side of the playoffs, Jake?
I think it was the game that I just talked about. The Lakers and Rockets has got to be the most interesting matchup because the Lakers are down. They're down a couple of guys. So I'm looking at them as they're coming into the postseason a little bit hurt. They've got to get back on the horse, and this is a tough game to do it against a very talented Rockets squad. It's a very tough game. If Kevin Durant gets hot, we've seen what he's been able to do. When he was in Brooklyn, he almost single-handedly took down Milwaukee and Giannis. If it wasn't for an extra inch on his shoe, he might have done that. And so I look at Kevin Durant as a complete game changer, not only just in this series, but for the entire playoffs, because like you said, that playoff takes a toll. If they go to 7 games against the Lakers, they're going to have to rely on Kevin Durant to do a lot more scoring in those next couple of games. OKC, their game plan is going to be to shut down Kevin Durant. Someone else is going to have to step up. This team is built well. Amen Thompson, I think, is the one on there. Very good player. Very. I made a mistake. We'll see in the later segment, but I have him in my top 5 shooting guards right now. Amen Thompson, I think defense and his ability to score around the rim, a 3-level scorer, he's just a good player. So honestly, both of them I think are good, but this is the matchup that I'm looking at, Rockets and Lakers.
Landon, who are you pulling for out of the West? Tell me who you want to see do well.
I really want to see the Spurs win. I feel like everybody in the NBA, around the fan base, everybody obviously loves Wemby, but this team is just full of young guys that you can cheer for. I'm a really big fan of Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. I think they're great players. De'Aaron Fox was in Sacramento, didn't really have a chance to win, but now he has that chance to win. We've seen Wemby in the regular season. We've yet to see him in the postseason, and we know what he can do. I just want to see if he can do it.
You know, when we talk about the Spurs, they're not that far away from being one of those teams that you hate watch just because they're that good. So for me, I'm not necessarily pulling for San Antonio heading into the playoffs, but I do think they're going to do well. Typically, I love to watch Denver come to playoffs because Jamal Murray enters a whole other level. Aaron Gordon always steps up his play, and Nikola Jokic tends to be one of the best, or one of the top 2 most definitely on the floor at all times. That's your look at the Western Conference and how things are going to shape up throughout the playoffs. But before we get there, a few teams vying for those 7 and 8 spots. We'll start in the East with that side of the play-in, where you're seeing the 76ers, the Magic, the Hornets, and the Heat work things up beginning tomorrow. Jake, as we look at these 7 through 10, how realistic is it for them to be competitive, especially in the East?
I just don't think it is at all. When I look at these games right now, I think nobody has a chance. I mean, you're going to tell me who's going to beat the Pistons, because it's not going to be one of those 4 teams. I guarantee you that.
None of them. And OJ we're talking about. No. Paulo Banchero can't do it?
No way. They just lost. The Magic last night just lost to the worst lineup that the Celtics possibly could have formulated and put out on the court. And they lost by 20 points. 20. No. They're going to lose to the 76ers. Playoff P. I got a chance to go down to Gainbridge Fieldhouse and watch the 76ers play against 5 random people they found on the street, I guess. I don't know what the Pacers are doing. Micah Potter, I love the name. They play a little Harry Potter thing, but I mean, dude, they could have gave me a jersey and I could have done what he was doing out there, just to be honest. But I'm not happy with where the Magic are right now. I think the 76ers win that matchup. They get absolutely obliterated by the Celtics. Okay, let's go to the next game. I think the Hornets beat the Heat. Heat are out. I think the Hornets have a chance to beat the Magic. Let's say the Hornets get in there. 4-0. Let's say the Magic get in there. 4-0. It's going to happen. It's going to be a blowout either way. You look at the other side, it's the same thing. None of the 4 teams on the West are even going to compete for those spots. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and be against more basketball because I do love watching basketball, but This is pointless basketball at this point.
Well, I think the West is a little different right? I mean, you have a few great players in the mix in the West. I mean, we're talking about Steph Curry like he hasn't been to more finals than anybody in our era aside from LeBron James himself. Landon, you got to back me up here. We're talking about Steph Curry. We're talking about Kawhi Leonard on two teams vying in that play-in series. Are they completely out of it?
When you stack them up against the team, especially in the West, if you look at the top two teams, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, far more susceptible to an upset just because I mentioned we haven't seen Wemby in the postseason. We haven't seen a lot of them in the postseason, don't really have that experience. So if you put them up against an experienced team, I think there is a slight chance they could potentially lose. But I just think in terms of talent, it's an absolute manslaughter out there. With Phoenix, probably the best team out of here, I don't think they stand a chance against the Spurs or OKC.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to try and say that any of these teams could compete with the thing with the Spurs is you get them into the conference championship, that's when you start to worry about, okay, they've now played anywhere between 8 to 16 games at this point. So, yeah, they're going to be tired. Yeah, they haven't dealt with this level of adversity. They haven't been this deep in a series, this, that, and the other. This is the first round we're talking about. Fresh off of a week about a week of rest in there, there is no way any of these teams have a chance against them. I mean, it is just absolutely ridiculous. The thing about the Warriors, Steph Curry's played 43 games. He might not even play in the tournament as well. So Jimmy Butler's been pretty MIA this year. All of these teams have just been missing that one piece to get them into that next level. And without being at that level, they can't compete with those
Can't
teams.
be missing. Can't be missing come the postseason. Literally, figuratively, on the roster. Doesn't matter. One last question for both of you. Landon, I'll turn to you first. Do you feel that anybody has an opportune route to the finals?
Like I mentioned, I do like OKC's first two matchups, and I really like the fact that they don't have to play San Antonio or Denver round one. I was watching that Nuggets-Spurs game last night because if the Nuggets lost, they would have dropped to the 4 seed and would have most likely played against Oklahoma City in that round two, but didn't turn out that way. I think OKC has a very clear path to the conference finals, but once they get there, you absolutely cannot count out the Denver Nuggets or the San Antonio Spurs in the East. I think the East is going to be very close. The Pistons obviously have been playing very well. The Celtics have been playing fantastic since Jason Tatum's coming back, and the Knicks have obviously been playing very good basketball as well. They beat the Celtics in the postseason last year, so I think there will be a lot of good playoff series to watch, but in terms of path to the finals, I still favor OKC.
Jake, is it going to be an easy run for the Pistons at that one spot in the East?
See, I just don't see that because they're going to have to go up against a guard-heavy Cavaliers team that we've talked about. They've made the changes, and they have good pieces around them. I feel like they can really compete against this Pistons team, especially when you put them in the 7-game series because you look at a team like Indiana last year. They weren't necessarily on people's radars going into the playoffs. Like some people were like, okay, they're going to beat Milwaukee. They might take down Cleveland just because of the way the season had been going. But I look at the Pistons as like or the Cavaliers, as that underrated team this year. People are just sleeping on them. You're worried about the Knicks. You're worried about the Celtics. You're worried about the 1 seed, but it's that 4 seed that's going to come out of nowhere and just absolutely shock people because if they take down the Pistons, they're going to go into that conference championship at about that same level, about the same amount of games played as the Celtics or the Knicks. So I just don't see fatigue really being a factor at that point. Like I think these teams are well built enough to where their guards are going to take them where they need to be. It's going to be a very exciting East, I will say. This year, very, very exciting. Maybe not as exciting for an Indiana fan like it was last year, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, if you thought Boston went anywhere, they didn't. Boston, I think, is going to find another Eastern Conference Finals, and I think there's a really good chance if they do see the Pistons there that they do indeed make the finals to go play whoever comes out of the West. Really, Boston is going to be my pick for the East, and that's how things shake up in the East and the West. Looking into the playoffs, we're sure it's going to be fun, but we're talking some great shooting guards like James Harden. How about the top 5 shooting guards in NBA history? All 3 of us have our picks up next.
And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome back to UND TV News.
For the campus, local, and national headlines you need to know. Tune in to UND TV News, Mondays at 6.
I remember growing up, sitting around the lunch table. I had those long wooden lunch tables. I didn't really have the circle ones during elementary school. So I was yelling cat a corner to the guy talking about Michael Jordan, how Michael Jordan wasn't nothing, right? And how Kobe Bryant was the GOAT. But everyone matures. One day or another, you get there and you figure out where you need to be. Today we're talking shooting guards. MJ and Kobe sure to be talked about a whole bunch. Jake, you have our first 5.
Let's do it. Let's throw it up there. Number 1 is going to be probably the best player to ever, I mean, not probably. I think he's the greatest player to ever put on a basketball uniform.
Just wait for next week. That's what we're talking about. We'll see.
The things that is just the highlights that you get to watch, and then after watching the documentary, getting to learn a little bit more about Jordan and that drive that he had. I just don't think there was really – the only other player mindset-wise that came close to Michael Jordan was the guy who's second on the list, and that's Kobe Bryant. There you go. You see him right there. He had the best mid-range, and there is nothing – you could talk about Sean Livingston all you want. He learned from Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant walked so he could run. And you're talking about fade away this, fade away that, triple team this, quadruple team that. I mean, did not matter how much defense you – look at that. That's a double team right there. 2 hands in his face, nothing but net. Doesn't matter what you did, you could not guard Kobe Bryant.
I like Kobe.
60 points in his final game.
I really like Kobe. I think Kobe beats Michael Jordan in a one-on-one, if we're being serious. But I understand that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about 5-on-5 basketball, and I'll give my opinion on where Kobe stands in accordance to Michael Jordan here in a second. But the two that these talent possess, I think, sits above the rest of the conversation. We look down, we see James Harden, Dwayne Wade, and Allen Iverson. Tell me what provides James Harden that 3 spot for you.
The month or 2 months where
you're not even thinking about it.
40
it's not even
points.
Close. He's at 3.
Clearly the 3. I love Dwayne Wade, and I thought he was a great basketball player, but James Harden is the best offensive player ever. I mean, him on a pick and roll is almost as unstoppable as Kobe shooting a mid-range. Like, those 3 guys, I put them all in the same conversation as unstoppable offensively. I think Wemby might get to that point, but there's certain things you can do to guard them. When you're scoring on triple teams and quadruple teams, do you realize that coaches had to literally find a different way to guard James Harden? They were putting people behind him. They were guarding him behind and in front of him, sandwiching him, and he was still scoring on people. Like, they could not. There was a stretch during the 2017-2018 season where there was not a man on this planet that could guard James Harden. And he proved it every single night. He crossed every guard that you can think of. Defensive minded doesn't matter. Pat Bev doesn't matter. Put him on the ground, made him touch earth, and then hit the 3 while staring at him. Hundreds of times. And it's so much to the point where there are just highlight reels dedicated to James Harden dropping people. Usually you have like multiple different guys in those highlight reels. It's just 10 minutes of James Harden. Insane handles, insane shot. You can say he doesn't play defense, but really shooting guards don't play that much defense.
Landon.
I can tell you shooting guard that played defense is Dwayne Wade, the leading all-time blocker for a guard position. I had him above James Harden personally. And really what the biggest thing for him, obviously the defense, but the postseason accolades for Dwayne Wade are there. Obviously, played with LeBron James for a couple of years, so you're going to win championships. But won his first championship in his 3rd year. I feel like people really don't talk about that. Yes, he had Shaquille O'Neal, but year 3 Dwayne Wade coming out there, winning Finals MVP in 2006 against Dirk Nowitzki in one of his best seasons as well. I think Dwayne Wade, when you look at all-around game, you look at regular season, postseason, he's my number 3.
People don't give Dwayne Wade his flowers because he ended up playing with LeBron James towards that the latter part of his prime. And we forget, as you say, Landon, that he went out there and won the thing by himself in his 3rd year. As he was no doubt a top 3 player in the league. And he had Shaq on that team, but really, Dwayne Wade was a talent that the league hadn't seen of that archetype, that ability to slash, play defense from the shooting guard spot.
I will say, he's on the list for a reason. He's a very good player. It's not that he's not a good player, but my only defense to my list is that I don't care about stats. I don't care about anything else. I care about the eye test. I've watched all these guys play. I've watched their highlight reels. I've watched live games, well, not live games, obviously, of a couple of them, but you know what I mean? Like, I've watched their games and stuff, and eye test tells me that that's my top 5. Like Michael Jordan is just a step ahead of Kobe Bryant. There were things that Michael Jordan was doing on just global level. People didn't know about basketball until Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan really put basketball on the map, I feel like, as a global sport. Put it on to the same level as baseball. There was nothing competing with baseball at the time. Michael Jordan kind of moves that up, I feel like, into the realm of the NFL, this, that, and the other. But you have Kobe Bryant, and I feel like those top 2 are not debatable, but it's the James Harden's offensive ability. Defense, some people are going to maybe have a little bit more defense, the same people that wouldn't vote for Luka for MVP this year.
We all 3 have the same 5 in a somewhat different order. I myself have James Harden in a different spot. I have him behind Allen Iverson at 5. Evan, don't say, oh my gosh.
Tell him, Evan.
Don't say, oh my gosh. Our producer's in my ear telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. We're talking about Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, name another person on that team when he played Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant in the finals. He was the MVP by a mile in the same league as Kobe. He was nice. That's your number 1 shooting guard right there.
It's not your number 1.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Are you dead serious?
I'm dead serious.
Look,
Look, I love Kobe, but he's not Michael Jordan. But we're talking about Allen Iverson. What hurts Allen Iverson in his career is that his prime was just too short. And I understand that. Allen Iverson only had about 13 years in the NBA. And of those 13 years, I don't know if he had a terrible year, but there were years where he wasn't necessarily that one option like the other guys that we see on this list. Michael Jordan was never on a team where he wasn't the one. Kobe was never not the one. Dwayne Wade.
What team was James Harden not the one on?
Oh, this one right now. But, you know,
all right.
It's fine. But James Harden, look, my argument against James Harden, James Harden hasn't won anything. And we say that he's, the greatest offensive talent to touch a basketball in the modern NBA offense. But why don't we give that credit to Russell Westbrook? They've won the exact same stuff. Russell Westbrook has better stats with more scoring titles, or not more scoring titles, but he has an assist title, better defense. Look, I like James Harden, but when comparing him to guys like Allen Iverson, who does have more scoring titles than Allen Iverson, or than James Harden, I think we give him a little too much credit. Am I invalid, Landon?
The thing about Allen Iverson is he absolutely did change the landscape of the NBA with the ball handling. When he entered the league, he was doing things that players never even thought of. And that 2001 season obviously was incredible, brought that Sixers team all the way to the finals, but just played an all-time duo in Shaq and Kobe. But when I think of all-time great offensive players, because that's what the shooting guard position is really mainly about, offense. The defensive gap between Harden and AI, I don't think that's a conversation anyone's even really talked about, to be honest. But in terms of offensive players, James Harden scoring the ball, creating offense for other players, he's up there with the greats of all time. He's up there with Kevin Durant in that GOAT conversation of offensive players.
Allen Iverson. If nobody knows, I know. I promise that. If nobody knows, I know about Allen Iverson. I've watched a documentary. I think it's on Netflix. It's pretty good, too. But that's my 5. I'm really sticking to my guns here. One thing that you won't notice on any of our 5, there's no Jerry West. Why didn't Jerry West find his way into your top 5, Jake?
Because was that even the NBA at that point? Like I just look at it as like halfway through the 70s, you can start counting stuff as like the NBA, or like right around the halfway through the 60s, whatever it is.
So Wilt Chamberlain's not the GOAT?
No, I've never had him. I've never had him as the GOAT ever. It's been the Mike. That's why you don't ever hear the people who, if you're having a Jordan and LeBron debate and someone says, "Well, just disregard their opinion." Their opinion on sports doesn't matter at all.
Landon, why no Jerry West for you?
Jerry West obviously played a long time ago. I haven't really watched too much of his film. It didn't really win NBA championships to that degree, and that's really how you get your name into the history books. Obviously, we know him. He's the NBA logo. He won a Finals MVP, even though he lost. I think that is historic, but we're looking at top 5. We're looking at 5 guys here, and I mentioned my number 5 guy, Allen Iverson, is a guy that completely changed the modern landscape of the NBA. So that's just the level that this is being held to, and Jerry West, unfortunately for him, he did a lot of great things in his career, just did not meet that level.
You could also go back and do the little eye test that I was talking about. Jerry West dribbles like this.
Well, it was a carry if you didn't, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like now you can literally pick the ball up, cradle it, you could give it a kiss, feed it, whatever you want to do, and then put it back down on the ground, and it's not a carry. But it was just a different style of basketball. There was a point where it's like comparing when there wasn't a three-point line. Like obviously those guys weren't going to have better numbers than the guys now because there's a shot worth more points. It's just hard to compare those two things.
Guys, there have been people that have been born, lived whole lives, and died since Jerry West has played an NBA basketball game. So that's understandable. If you're asking why there's no Jerry West on this list, that's why. Courtesy, last call. Landon, thank you for your insight. I think you did pretty good. Your list is all right. We're going to do the Primetime Pick Em here up next on Last Call.
Tune into Good Morning Greyhounds on UND TV on YouTube at 9 a.m. on Saturdays.
Start your morning right with entertainment, interviews, and games all on Good Morning Greyhounds on Saturdays at 9 a.m. And you can even spot a greyhound.
McQuitty's on his way to class. While he makes his way to Dr. Greenan's classroom, Jake and I stand right here at the desk for the Primetime Pick Em. This is the reason you're here this Monday evening. This is what it's all about. I'm Caden. That's Jake, and I'm losing horrendously.
And with that, before we get started, I had a proposition. So, as we know, there are 3 play-in games on either side, correct? Yeah. There's the loser of the 7-8 game and then the winner of the 9-10 game. If we were to potentially predict that correct, I'd say that might be in store for like a 5 or 10 point bonus right there. Potentially give us a chance.
I don't want pity points, okay? I really don't.
But it's not pity, it's interest. It's keeping it interest. You got to keep the crowd involved. A lot of people turn off the game when someone's up by 20 points.
You're a gambler. I'll say that. I'll accept.
All right, we'll sort that out in the post, but all right, first game. Heat and Blazers and Suns, actually.
In Phoenix. Lights are bright for the big play-in just to go get swept by whoever you want to play in the first round. Give me Phoenix. Why not? Dylan Brooks is going to get his few clips there, and he'll be on the NBA highlights for all the night, and then he'll be done.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I liked the Suns, but I'll go with the Blazers. I like the away team this time.
All right. We'll move to Heat as they go to Charlotte. Charlotte's had a great season this year to their standard. I mean, does this count as a playoff berth to you?
I think it kind of does. Just for teams, when you're looking at teams that haven't been there in a long time, maybe you put it in the perspective of like you have the Hawks in there this year, so maybe it's not as nice to be in the play-in, but it's been a while since Charlotte has been good, like since Chris Paul was there, I think, or something like that. It's been a while. But I will go with the Hornets here. I think they have been playing good basketball the last month or so.
I'm going to go with the Hornets as well. However, when Eric Collins is the most influential person in your organization, your basketball is probably not too good, but I don't know if the play-in's too good this year.
All they're doing is shooting threes. I think between LaMelo Ball and Colin Knippel, there were like 540 threes made between them.
But that guy, Con Knippel's nice.
He is.
Watch out. He's going to be tough, and he's definitely in the race with Cooper Flagg. But I don't know if he wins.
Why we bring this up? This is the most ridiculous thing ever. He is not in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Cooper Flagg has broken every single rookie record and is up there with only LeBron. Only person that has been better than him as a rookie was LeBron. The only thing that Con Knippel has done is hit 273s. That's it.
That seems pretty cool to me. 273s, that's a franchise record for a Hornet as a rookie.
Yeah, but you're going to say since Cooper Flagg. I mean, Cooper Flagg is the most like 40
Cooper
points.
Flagg's tough. I'm not saying he's the Rookie of the Year. I'm saying he's in the race.
I don't think it's a race is what I'm saying. I think it's ridiculous to consider. Just because he hit a bunch of threes, I think that's ridiculous to consider.
Well, Jake and I can agree that the Hornets are going to beat the Heat for the play-in. As we move to Wednesday, Warriors have a short trip to L.A. They're going to play the Clippers for that play-in game. Who do you like here, Jake?
I like the Clippers.
Clippers.
I like it, yeah.
I have to play some get back. I'm going to take the Warriors, so I'll take Stephen Curry against the Los Angeles Clippers.
It's your experience right there.
Absolutely. Magic at Sixers, Jake, tell me.
I'm going with Sixers. I talked about it earlier, gave you my reasoning. Magic, tough end of the season. It's not how you want to see them play game number 82. I don't think number 83 looks much better.
82 doesn't matter. We're talking about Paulo Banchero.
So, you're going with the Magic?
Yeah, I'll take the Magic. Why not? And then finally, the Lakers are at home playing against Houston. This first round matchup should be really, really fun. And obviously, Lakers have to wait on some health stuff to be figured out. With Austin Reeves, with Luka, I'm hoping they get back for basketball's sake. But with everything up in the air, where do you sit?
Honestly, I think Lakers take game 1 just because it is at home. We have this graphic backwards, but they are actually at home for game 1. So I like the Lakers.
I am going to gamble. I'm going to take the Rockets. Not just because I have to either, but even when you're coming back into a different atmosphere, into playoff basketball, Rockets are no slouch of a team at all. I think they catch a flat-footed Lakers team and take game 1, steal game 1 on the road.
All right. While we're getting the records up, I've rethought my proposal. What we'll do is if you can predict the 8 seed, I think that makes it simpler for our producer and viewers to understand what we're doing. Caden can correctly predict either of the 8 seeds. He will get a bonus 5 points in the Primetime Pick Em, as determined now. So, of those 4 from either side, you've got the West, the Clippers, and the Warriors, and then you also have the loser of the Suns and Trailblazers. Who takes the 8 in the West?
In the West? Does it really matter?
I don't think it does, but it does for the Primetime Pick 'em.
The 8th seed is going to be the Clippers. 8th seed's going to be the Clippers in the West, and in the East, it's going to be the Magic.
The Magic? Okay. I don't know about that, but all right. Can't just throw away those bonus points. See, look, here's the thing. You get those bonus points, you're right back in it. It's 55, 58.
You know what? A 58-37 is definitely the best record that we've ever had on the Monday Football Forecast, a Primetime Pick 'em, any kind of pick 'em that we've ever done. So props to you, and we'll see if I can find my way back through the whole pity process that we're trying to milk out here in the last few weeks. I'm glad that we could do it. Props to AI. That's my goat. Next week, Last Call will be back.